Happy hobby, I think. I'm still trying to figure this out. We have a new setup here. So it's a little different than what I used last time. So it makes it a little trickier. Makes sense? Alright, so let's see. I'm trying to just see me on here because I don't see me on here yet. I see a chat, so if anybody's in there, feel free to chat. Let's see. I think I see me. Okay. Happy hobby. I'm David Ganis. Welcome to this already crazy YouTube live stream. We're going to be looking at some cards, of course, talking about sports cards. Specifically, we're going to be. There's a slight echo, Shelby says. Wonder what. I don't know what to do about that. Let me see if I do that. Now, check and tell me if there's a slight echo now. I may have just fixed it. I may have. I don't know. Again, so Miss Shelby is our moderator for the day. Patrick Imhoff agrees my audio is echoing. So I think I may have just fixed it. Yes! Patrick Imhoff says I fixed it. We are good. Oh, well, that was cool. That was just one little thing to check. Good, 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 good. Awesome. So we have 3 viewers. Patrick Imhoff, who was a big part of this this live stream today, because he sent me some cards to give away. So we'll be giving those away, doing trivia like we've done in the past couple weeks, and so I got some other cards, but we also have a special guest who's coming on in 10 minutes because I told him 8:15. That's coming up quick. So this is Brent from Brutus on Baseball. Now I don't know why he goes by Brutus on Baseball. Maybe that's his nickname because his name's Brent, and maybe he goes. I don't know if he likes like bears, like because Brutus isn't that a bear? I think maybe. I don't know. We're gonna find all that out. But Brent on Brutus on Baseball has an awesome channel, and I put the links to his top 4 videos, his 4 most popular videos. I put them in the description to this live stream. So check out those because we're going to talk about that stuff a little bit. Of course, watch those videos later. But he's going to be talking about his picks before the season started of his top 10 players under 30 years old, baseball, who have the potential to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He also did a video on the 10 that are over 30 years old. They believes have the best potential to get into the Hall of Fame. So get your questions ready because he's going to be answering that stuff. He really is a wealth of knowledge. I'm going to show you my different setups I got here. Let me see what you guys think. So this is, I'm going to transition this to my live scene. That's where I can, show some cards. While I have you here on this, I'll go ahead and show you this. This is something I plan to open. I'm going to do a video for these probably in the next month. Now, these say $30 each. These were not $30 each. I bought these off eBay for a total of $50 about 3 or 4 months ago. And these are 2014 Topps Update with 1 pack of Chrome of 2014 Topps Chrome. So in these packs, I'm hoping to find, well, it used to be Jacob deGrom and Mookie Betts, but now it's just Mookie Betts. I think there's another 1 or 2 really good rookies that are from that set that I'm hoping to pull. But that'll be a video later this month probably. Also, don't forget about the Albert Pujols giveaway. So this is for, by the way, I don't know this stuff, these things up here. I gotta get rid of those. I don't know what that is. Those are things. So I gotta get rid of those. But I'm talking about the things up at the top of the screen with little boxes and stuff. I don't know what that is. So this is a Pujols relic card from 2002, the year after his rookie season. Hey, Spicy Bear's in the house. How's it going, Spicy Bear? Changed his name and everything since we last saw him. But this is, look for this video on my channel because we're doing a giveaway. We're only like 15 people away from 2,000. So when we hit 2,000 subscribers, we're giving this away. You got to watch that video to know what to do to be eligible for that giveaway. So make sure you do that. What else? So we're also going to be doing trivia with some giveaways. The awesome Pujols for thanks, Spicy. This live stream is a week late. I had originally wanted to do this last week. Had a lot of stuff going on, so we moved it to this week. Okay, so here's the other toys I'm working with here. So this is so right now you're looking at me basically doing like a demo shot, like where I can look at the cards, and then look, this is the me talking to a guest. And you'll see when he comes on, there'll be a guest there. It also shows the recent chat thing. Like it showed Spicy Bear's little chat. So that's pretty awesome. I don't know how I did it. I worked on it the other day and looks like it's kind of working. So that's good. And then I'm going to eventually we'll do this third one, which is it'll have me there, the guest next to me, and then a demo spot for me to look through cards and all that such. I think we'll do that for like, see, look at there, we got a chat in there. See how I made it in there? How's it going, Tom Bullard? Nice to see you, my friend. Welcome aboard. We are, this is my third live stream, I think, so we're still working out the kinks, but be prepared. We are going to be doing some giveaway. I'll tell you what, with the arrival of Tom Bullard, let me go back to this part here. Let's add the chat box. Okay. Still trying to figure it out. I'm going to add the chat box to this screen. So we can, when people chat, we can see what they say on here. And there's a little delay. And as I said, my wife is on here, Shelby, and she is, what's the phrase? She is moderating this. Yes, let's see, did this work? All right, so there we go. Perfect. Tom, I appreciate it. 3 more than you're hosted. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's an adventure. I'll say that. So, tell you what, with the arrival of Tom, let's go through and I'll show you what I plan to give away today. So the way we do this is each month we have random slabs that if somebody does a super chat, then they will get entered into a drawing for their choice of slab. So for instance, a Gavin Lux 2020 Topps Chrome rookie card PSA 9. The Nolan Ryan 1982 Topps card. It's one of my favorite designs of any Nolan Ryan card. It's got a dinged corner, hence the 5. But it's a beautiful card. It really is a nice card. And then I'll move that over here. Let's see, what is this? All right. Oh, I didn't transition. Okay, I'm going back because I didn't transition. I was just talking to myself. All right, so first, 2020 Topps Chrome Gavin Lux rookie card. How are we doing? Houdini Sports, Jeff Mathis, Ezekiel Sports Memorabilia. Good to see you guys again. This 2020 Topps Chrome Gavin Lux. This is for anybody that super chats. They'll go into the drawing for one of these slabs. Gavin Lux with the torn. He's got the torn ligament right now, so we're not going to see him for a bit. But this is Topps Chrome rookie card, PSA 9, and he actually had a pretty decent season last year. Nolan Ryan, 1982 Topps, as I mentioned, he's got a little dinged corner right up in here. But it's my favorite design of any Nolan Ryan card that is not his 1969 solo rookie card. That's an awesome card. All right. Let's see. This is the Bowman, the CSG 8.5 Bowman, the big boy, the tall boy. You can see it's taller than the cards, right? The other cards. 8.5. Ken Griffey Jr. Saw him during the All-Star Derby. That was or the All-Star, the Home Run Derby. That was pretty good to see him. He's always fun. He's always good. And then finally, Derek Jeter. This is an HGA with the Yankee colors. Jeter Upper Deck rookie card. And I got this graded last year. Now, what's cool about this, and you'll see in my upcoming video on HGA, I have a video in here. This is actually an 8.5 grade. So they're doing this new thing where if you send it, like there's certain cards that they graded that the rounded down instead of rounding up. So you can go in, punch in that code here. I'll move that up. This is that code. Punch in that code, and it'll tell you if it's upgradable. This one is upgradable to 8.5, but it costs you $8 to send it in. It's $8 to reslat it. One of those deals. Or you could just be cool with an 8.0, which is pretty good too. All right. So those will be for any super chatters. Anybody that super chats goes into the drawing for that. Now, for the drawings, we have a few different things here. As I mentioned, Patrick Imhoff, who is a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, big-time Pittsburgh Pirates fan, sent me a bunch of cards. First, let me show, he sent me like Rays cards, and he said these are for me to keep though, like Wander Franco and the Jackson Holiday, of course, Cole Anthony, Wander Franco, Top Stadium Club, which is Stadium Club Chrome, which is just an awesome looking card. I don't have neither of these that I have, so that's amazing. Mladzinski, Nick Gonzalez, and of course Henry Davis is Bowman first. So I was very thankful for that. He sent a few others too, like a Shohei. He sent a whole pack of stuff. So here's what he sent for us to give away in a giveaway. Now these are actually 3 stacks that I'm going to do as 3 separate giveaways. Oh, our guest has joined. Okay, quick. I'm going to go through these quick. Nick Gonzalez, Priester, Cade Cunningham, Mladzinski, Brooks Lee, a top 20 prospect right now, top 30 prospect right now. No, top 20 right now for MLB. Otto, Bly, Madras. Patrick can tell you all about him. Nick Gonzalez. So that's one. The other one's going to be Drew Jones at the top, which is awesome. Nick Gonzalez, Andy Rodriguez, Nick Gonzalez, and Miguel Yajur auto for the Yankees fans in you. And I know he's here. I know. I see him. All right. Okay. I'm gonna let him right after this. Nick Gonzalez, Kira Jr., Henry Davis, number 1 overall pick, y'all. O'Neal Cruz and the Yohel Pozo. I don't know if I said that right. Auto. So those 3 will be part of the giveaway too. And the way we're gonna do it is if you get one of the trivia questions right, you get to pick which set you want. And I'm gonna go through these cards too. We'll do this quick. Shaq, MJ, Larry Bird, Alex Rodriguez, his first Topps card. Shohei Ohtani Bowman card. Manny Machado rookie card, Topps opening day. 86 Pete Rose record breaker, and a Tony Gwynn SP from 2022. Those are pretty good cards. Those are pretty fun, right? Those are good ones, right? Okay. All right, so let's do our first trivia question, and then we're going to go to our guest. Are y'all ready? Okay, you're ready. I can tell you're ready. The first question is, which Major League Baseball team originally signed David Ortiz? Which Major League Baseball team originally signed David Ortiz? I'm going to do the Jeopardy music. You know, while we're doing that, I'm going to bring in our guest. Let's see. All right, so I think are you in there? Can you see me? All right, you can see me. Can I hear you? I cannot hear you. So let's go. Got a few people answering the trivia question. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull you up here. Hold on just a second. Um, all right, let's try this. Can I hear you now, Brent?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All righty,
All
there
right,
you go.
perfect. I'm gonna crank up the volume on my end.
Sweet.
So we just did a trivia question, and I'm letting them run off some answers real quick, and then we'll go to us. But these are some of the cards I'm giving away. Oh, and Mr. Brent has a trivia question for y'all as well, as does Patrick Imhoff. He's got some in here in the mix as well. So we got a lot of answers so far. We finally got an answer. We got the right answer. At least it's the first right answer I've seen. Uh, it's this. Oh, so Brent, let's see if you know this one. The first Major League Baseball team who signed David Ortiz.
I would say the Twins.
I would have thought that as well. The Seattle
No.
Mariners,
Mariners, yeah.
which Ezekiel Memorabilia nailed it. So, hey, Stud Field Mouse, how you doing? All right, so here's the cards you're going to choose from, Ezekiel. So we got the Shaq, the Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Marvel superhero look, the first Alex Rodriguez Topps card, Shohei Ohtani Bowman, Manny Machado rookie Topps opening day, 86 Pete Rose, Tony Gwynn SP. We've got the stack of Pirates with the Bly Madras and the Mojo Nick Gonzalez. The Drew Jones stack with the Yajur auto. Tom, yeah, I don't know if you cheated. You know what? It's almost like it's tough to cheat because you got to move so fast. And then this is the third stack with Henry Davis in there. So Ezekiel, let me know which one you got there, which one you want, and then I'm gonna go. We'll start talking to our special guest star. You know what? We'll go ahead and move over, and I'll go to. Let's see if I can transition this. This is all new to me, man. So I'm trying to get this working correctly.
It's a learning curve. I get that.
All right. So you can see. You only see me, right?
That's right. I can just see your screen.
So the chats should be coming in here, but I don't really see them popping in. But anyways, I can see the chats. Ezekiel takes the Manny Machado Topps opening day rookie card, so we'll put that one. And maybe
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, yeah. So Shelby is going to help me with those maybe and mark down. She's my moderator today. Brent, I'm so sorry. I'm really scrambled because it didn't really start the way I wanted to start. The whole mechanism was kind of crazy. How are you doing? And please tell me now. You told me yesterday. I think you live in Vancouver. You said British Columbia.
Yep, I live in Vancouver, BC now. Yeah.
BC. So what's the weather like right now? Is it nice, hot, or is it?
It's beautiful, beautiful, sunny. It never gets too hot here, so it's probably around 80 degrees.
Oh, nice. Well, it is nice. Yeah, we went to Seattle last year, and it was muggy, man. It was really muggy. It was like September too. It was super. It was really weirdly hot.
Yeah.
Vancouver, my wife's been to. She said it's beautiful. So
yeah, Vancouver, Seattle, pretty much the same weather. So
I gave the kind of a rundown of your channel. Can you give us a better version of what I did?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. My channel, it's baseball only. That's what I focus on. But it's everything about baseball. I love the game, and I just love to be able to share the information that I have in my head. I love history. I love how the game works. I love collecting. So all of those things go into my channel. So you'll find videos about cards and collecting cards, what I'm looking for, what I'm buying. But you'll also find a lot of things about baseball history. You'll find a lot of things about predicting future Hall of Famers, things like that, and all sorts of things. You run the gamut.
So what's your secular, like, what's your profession? You seem like a teacher or a professor of some sort.
No, I'm not at all. My profession not doing this hobby stuff is actually I'm a geologist. So
Oh,
I
wow.
look at rocks. Yeah, that's what I do most of the time. I do environmental work, so cleaning up contamination and how it moves through the ground.
Wow.
But yeah, it's totally different than baseball, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So this is something you do for fun now. Obviously, I've seen your videos. You collected as a young man, and the passion just continued. Your what's your wheelhouse? Like I know you did an awesome video that was about your top 10 1990s baseball card insert sets.
Yeah,
Is that
that's right.
is the 90s your wheelhouse? Like that's your spot?
That's my childhood, right? So I
Okay.
started collecting in 1988, and I collected hardcore all the way up through about 1998. So that was kind of my 10 to 20 year range. And so that's when I really just bought lots of boxes, opened tons of packs, and just collected the hell out of baseball cards during that time period. I took a bit of a break in the early 2000s, got
I think
back
all of
into
us
it.
did.
Yeah, got back into it in the early 2010s, and I've kind of dabbled in it since then. But my collecting strategy completely changed in the last 10 years that I've been into it, and it's much more focused. Whereas in the 90s, I collected anything and everything I could get my hands on.
Well, that's cool. Now, eventually, we'll kind of get into your top 10 under 30 and top 10 over 30 for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Did you watch the All Star game this weekend?
Absolutely, I did. Yeah.
The All Star game to me, like the All Star game is the All Star game. I love the home run derby. I've always been,
Yeah.
I've always been like, and even the other All Star stuff, like NBA All Star game. I love the slam dunk and I love the 3-point contest and the skills. I wish baseball would do a skills competition like they
Mhm.
do in the NFL Pro Bowl does one, hockey does one, NBA does one. Like it drives me nuts that they don't have one. Like pitchers hitting, specific spots. I know somebody's going to eventually blow out an arm doing it, but still, it would give me enjoyment. So isn't that worth the risk? But like even having an outfielder like throw to a bucket at home plate or something, like how close can they get on a bead? I don't know. It just seems like baseball's fastest from first to third or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it seems
Mhm.
like there's a way to incorporate some of that stuff in that they do not care to do. They just go home run derby and have a good day. That's it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I watched the game, but it's kind of my secondary thing. I love the Derby. That's my big thing too. And it would be great to see some sort of skills competition other than that.
Yeah, yeah. Again, though, I know somebody's going to snap a tendon of some sort, but my enjoyment. It's all about that.
There you
All
go.
right.
That's what matters.
Yeah. So first, I know you said you were. Well, let's talk about the top 90. We do have some questions coming in, friends. If you want to ask uh, Brent some questions, we're talking baseball history, 90s cards, anything like this. He really does have like a deep knowledge. He did a great video on like the history of free agency, which his videos are great. His videos are very informative. You're going to walk away being very educated. But the one thing I pulled away from that video was one thing really didn't know was the Drysdale and Koufax had this use the same agent to go to the team and basically negotiate a contract, which I thought that was how hasn't somebody done that now? That's brilliant. Like, a few years ago it could have been like Noah Syndergaard and Jacob DeGrom go to the Mets or something like that. Like that would have been awesome. But whatever.
Yeah, that was a fascinating story. That was back before sports agents existed, and players didn't really negotiate with their teams, so they teamed up and worked against the Dodgers to try to get as much money out of them as they could. And it didn't work, but it did work in some ways too. So it was
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
So Shelby just asked, the name of your channel again is Brutus on Baseball.
That's
And
right.
what is the why Brutus? What's that from?
Brutus is what was my high school nickname. So when I was coming up with ideas for what to call the channel, one of my old buddies just said, "Hey, you got to use Brutus," and it just kind of fit. It makes a lot of sense, so we went with it.
I like it. Makes sense. So Houdini Sports says, which one card got you hooked on card collecting?
Oh gosh, I don't know that I could give any answer other than the Upper Deck Griffey card. Right? It was right there in 1989. I grew up in Oklahoma, but I moved to the Seattle area when I was about 10 years old in 1988.
Oh
The Griffey
man,
card came back out the next year. He was the kid, and I just local hometown boy sort of thing, and I just was hooked after that. And it didn't help to my first major league game that I ever attended was Randy Johnson's no hitter against the Detroit Tigers in
wow,
1990 or 91. I can't remember. And I got to go on the field before that game started, and meet King Griffey Jr. and get his autograph. So
what?
all of those things just like really made it so I was a lifelong fan.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's pretty good. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, he really. I mean, the Mariners at that time when they drafted him was it 89 for number one overall in 1989? No,
87. Yeah,
87.
he was around.
So
Yeah,
when they drafted him, the Mariners had been in the league like 11 years. They were still a very new team.
yep,
So for him to be able to step in and basically become the face of the franchise, I mean, still today, you've got Ichiro and you have Alex Rodriguez and now you got J Rod, but nobody's getting past Ken Griffey. The most graded card at PSA ever
yeah,
is that
yeah.
1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey. All right. So let's see. Oh, Patrick Imhoff has a great question. If you were voting on the Hall of Fame, would you vote Barry Bonds into the Hall?
Wow, we're starting off with a really, really great question here. I totally would. You know, I would vote for Bonds. I'd vote for Clemens. My view on it, and I do explain this in some of my videos. I made a history of the Hall of Fame video, and I've got a couple different angles of looking at this. But there's the angle of there's a lot of people in the Hall of Fame that have been voted in that had a lot to do with the steroid era, like La Russa and Selig and
Oh
Torre,
yeah,
and they're in. Why are
that's
they in, but
a
the players
great
are not?
great points. That is a great
Yeah.
point. Yeah, and
I feel like we're
Is Selig already
scapegoating.
in?
Selig's already in. He made it
Yeah,
in on his first year. Yeah.
he's basically now. If there's anybody, I've got my own problems with Bud Selig just because I'm a Tampa fan and we got raked over a few times by
Yeah.
teams that were going to move to us, and they did other things, and then they gave our original expansion team they gave to the Marlins out of the blue instead of us when we had a stadium. We did everything they asked. Okay, side point, but I agree
Yeah.
with you. Barry Bonds should absolutely, be, in my opinion, be absolutely be inducted. He's not the nicest guy. I'm not a big fan of who he is, but from a baseball perspective, I mean,
Yeah.
fantasy baseball. Like he was 20 years of fantasy baseball greatness, built industries. A lot of stuff because of him. But yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Bonds and Clemens are, a totally different beast, right? So both of them were probably Hall of Famers before the steroid boom. That's another argument. And then it was just cultural throughout the sport. We can't pick and choose who we used and who didn't. There
Right.
were guys trying to hang on for a 26-man roster spot who were taking steroids, and it was just so throughout the game that it's hard to pick out who did, who didn't. We can't pinpoint just the guys that we think is obvious.
Right.
There's probably guys in the Hall of Fame already that were steroid
Yep,
users.
agreed.
So
And Ezekiel or Houdini, I think it was Ezekiel mentioned that Big Poppy was during that steroid era, and I think he was rumored to be on the list at one point, and then supposedly he wasn't anymore. Whatever. He's a big fat guy,
yep.
so I say all big fat guys we get a pass, no matter what.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do a trivia question real quick. Second trivia question. Let's see. Let me change this scene here. All right. So we're going back to this scene. The second trivia question is, are y'all ready? What was the first professional sports team to draft Bo Jackson? The first pro sports team to draft Bo Jackson. So we'll give them a minute to get their answers in here. Patrick Imhoff was mentioning the Tampa Bay Giants, which the San Francisco Giants were rumored to come to Tampa. And I say Tampa, but it's St. Pete. The Chicago White Sox were rumored at one point. I believe the Mariners were rumored at one point. There was talk of them coming. All it was them using the Tampa area as what do you call it, negotiating ploy against
As
the city
leverage.
so that they could leverage, so they could build their stadium. And what stinks is it forced us to build a stadium early, so that stadium is a piece of garbage, and we built it just before Toronto built the Sky Dome, and Cleveland built Jacobs Field, and Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Like all these awesome ones, we were like the last one of the cookie cutters from the 70s and 80s. So if we would have waited just a little bit. Anyways, okay. So let's see if anybody's gotten the answer correct yet. I don't see a correct answer yet. Bo Jackson's the first team that drafted Bo Jackson. We got a handful of guesses, but no answers. Do you know this one? You don't say it out loud.
I think I do. I think I know this one.
I'll give a hint. It was out of high school.
Yeah.
He was drafted, and he was drafted as, I'll give another hint. He was drafted as a shortstop, which is crazy, right?
Okay.
Let's see. And who's your favorite team? The Mariners still, right?
Well, no, Mariners became kind of my home team, but ever since I was a little kid, I was always a Detroit Tiger fan.
Oh,
It was
wow.
my team I picked in Oklahoma.
You what in Oklahoma? Oh, oh, that's right. You lived in Oklahoma. That's right. Sorry about that.
I lived, when I was a young kid, I didn't have any teams around me, and you live in Texas, you know what it's like. Being from Oklahoma, I can't like a Texas team. There's just too much rivalry there. So I just went out and tried to pick a team that I thought was the coolest, and I loved Alan Trammell, Lou Whitaker. So I picked them kind of in the mid '80s, and I
last month we gave away a signed Lou Whitaker card.
Nice.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
Very
so
cool.
Lou Whitaker, my wife grew up with his daughters because we're from Lakeland, Florida originally. That's their spring training. So we knew Lou Whitaker's family and their kids and all that stuff. But yeah, so we're big Lou fans. We think maybe we're biased, but he should be in the Hall of Fame. If Trammell made it into the Hall of Fame, I'm just saying. Okay, so we got someone that finally answered it right. And who other than Stud Fieldmouse, who won a slab last year or last month in this thing. So Stud Fieldmouse got it right. The Yankees. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to ask. So you know the
Yankees. Yeah.
So just imagine.
1982, I think.
They drafted him in the second round of 1982, and then I think it was the first round in 1981, or maybe the third round. They drafted John Elway. Or maybe that was 83. Maybe that was 83. So they could have had Elway, Bo Jackson, and Don Mattingly in the late 80s. I think that would have helped out Mattingly's baseball hall or his career, his shot at.
That would have been a fascinating team.
More playoffs, yeah. Okay, so Stud Fieldmouse, you nailed it. Which card would you like, sir? Shaq. This is the Shaq 93-94 as award winner for winning Rookie of the Year. The Fanimation Michael Jordan, Larry Bird card. Alex Rodriguez's first Topps card. I think it's 1998. Yes. Shohei Ohtani Bowman. 86 Pete Rose record breaker. The Tony Gwynn SP. A stack of Pirates cards with Cade Cunningham mixed in. Brooks Lee, a top 20 prospect with the Twins. An auto, Pirates auto of Bly Madras, and a Nick Gonzalez Mojo. So, Stud, this is your pick. A Drew Jones stack with a Yankees Miguel Yajur auto, and the Nick Gonzalez, Henry Davis, O'Neal Cruz, and Yoel Pozo auto for the Rangers. All right, so let's get into the Hall of Famers, or the potential Hall of Famers, I should say.
Okay.
So of the top 10, who is the person you think has solidified their shot, or is solidifying, or is improving their chances more from your list of the top 10 under 30 years old?
Under 30. Okay. So under 30, my number one last year when I made these videos was Mookie. All right. So I think that Mookie's pretty much solidified his way in. If he were to retire now, I think he should get in. I'm not sure he'd be voted in, but if he just plays a couple, 3, 4, 5 more years, even mediocre baseball, he should be. No doubt about it.
So was one World Series win? He's got one MVP.
Yeah, I believe so for the Red
So.
Sox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his stats are just awesome. Well, it's not so. Stud, you picked the Shaq stack. It's not stack. It's just Shaq. So these are single cards, and then the Pirates ones were stacks. Sorry. So yeah, that makes sense. Mookie was probably, I mean, even before the season, I think he was locked in. Probably. I mean,
I would
he's had a pretty good first half, but okay. So who else among that list that you think has really improved that you could think of?
Well, for the under 30, like these guys, we have to remember they're pretty far away still from the end of their career. So they've got a bit of distance to travel still. The only guys that I would say are close to locks would be Manny Machado, maybe Bryce Harper. He's getting up there, right?
Yeah.
And these guys are all guys that, are actually 30 years old now. So I haven't decided when I'm going to do my next video. I'm going to update it in the off season after the season's over. But they probably will have to move to the over 30 list. So they're not going to be on that under 30. Yeah.
Right.
But there's guys that, I have lower down my list that definitely have moved up. Ohtani is a big one. He wasn't even on my top 10 last year. I kind of said he needs to, I need to see one more season like the last two out of him, make sure that he can continue it with what he's doing. Like, he's just rocking up that list.
And he's basically giving you 2 more seasons this year.
Basically.
Right, yeah.
So he's going to jump from, just outside the top 10 to easily in the top 5 for the upcoming year when I do it. So, there's been some guys that have fallen down, but there's been some guys, Acuna, back on track. He was outside my top 10 last year because he just is so young, but give another year like this, and he's probably going to make the back end of that top 10. Corey Seager, he was a guy that has been hovering near the bottom of my top 10 for under 30-year-olds. With the year that he's having, he's going to catapult himself past some of the guys that are having 4 years. So I think I could see him sneaking up toward the top 5 to 7 range.
Now, what about some of the players from that list who you feel have faded back a little bit?
Yeah. So, Machado has had a bad year so far. In my mind, he hasn't taken a step back on that list. He's still going to be number 2 because he's just done it for so long. He's been so consistent. He's likely to make a comeback. But there's some guys that I'm curious. I'm wondering, what are they going to look like in the next few years? Do we think that they're actually going to stay on that Hall of Fame path? One of the guys that I worry about is Xander Bogaerts. He was kind of in the back end of my top 10 last year, going from Boston to play in San Diego. He's got that team around him, but San Diego is a tough park to hit in, and he doesn't have a lot of power to begin with. So I'm just not sure how he's going to look long term. He's not that young. I think he's just turned 30 as well. So compared to the guys on this list, he's a little bit older. So Carlos Correa, obviously I'm worried about him. A lot of people don't like him because of the Houston thing. But just looking at him in terms of a player that he is, he's been consistent. He's been really great. He's still young, only 28 years old. But given the offseason that he just had, falling through with deals with the Giants, the Mets, seeing something questionable in his health for the future, and then the year that he's had for the Twins, it just makes me pause a little bit when I'm looking at Correa cards.
Yeah, and that definitely makes you wonder, well, if he's got this injury, how many years have we got left?
Exactly.
He's trying to build up his WAR. He's trying to build up his resume, and if the back end of his career is clipped, he's going to have to do it in much shorter time span. Spicy Bear brings up Trey Turner.
Yeah. So Trey was a guy that I love, Trey Turner. I'll say that right off the bat. He's one of my favorite ball players.
I'm a big fan too.
And I love the way that he plays the game, right? Going into Philadelphia this year, the year that he's having is the last thing I expected. I expected him to be surrounded by some great hitters,
that was gonna be huge,
small ballpark. I thought so, right? And especially right after the World Baseball Classic, I just thought he'd keep rolling. This has been a surprise to me. I'm not as bearish on Trey Turner as I am for Correa and Bogaerts. I'm a little concerned, for sure, but I just think that he's going to turn it on at some point. And I guess maybe I still believe in a little bit. Maybe I'm biased because I like him so much.
Yeah.
I'm worried. It makes me sit back and think a little bit before I go investing in any more Trey Turner cards. If there's something cheap, I'll still buy it up. But what I've noticed is that Trey's cards haven't really taken a big hit this year compared to his numbers. We see guys like Correa, you can get his cards for really cheap compared to what they were last year, 2 years ago. But Trey, he's come down a little bit, but not a whole lot. So, I'm not really buying Trey right now because there's not great deals to be had.
So that's a good point. Real quick, Studfield Mouse said he'll take the Shaq card, so we'll give that to him for that. So Studfield Mouse gets Shaq for his correct answer. Also, somebody, Patrick Imhoff mentioned Freddie Freeman, which will transition us into the 30 and over club. Is it 30 and over or just over 30?
I wasn't very particular about it last year, and I think I'm going to have to be this year. I think it's going to be 30 and over going forward.
And real quick, one thing I remember you mentioning about Trey Turner is his body and his style of play lends itself to longer or longevity.
Right.
So that's
it comes into play, right? It's one of those things. They say that speed doesn't have slumps, right? You're either speedy or you're not. It's healthy or not healthy. So, I like players that have a well-rounded game, that can run, that can hit, that can field. And Trey has always been that kind of player. So I like him for that reason a little bit more. And I'm, hopeful. We'll see.
Now, Houdini Sports asked, do you think we should collect Fernando Tatis Jr. or Wander? I like that. I like the pitting. You can only collect one. I like that. That's a cage death match, right? Only collect one. Which one do you like out of those two?
Boy, okay. So there's a number of things that come into this.
Don't take into the fact that I'm a huge Wander Franco fan with all my
not at all.
Don't take that
into they're both great players. Tatis has a stain. He obviously does. Tatis is not that well liked. He's not that personable. I wonder about Wander Franco too. Like he seems to be more likable than Tatis, but there's some make-up questions, and we'll see how he responds to those things that have happened this year. I would probably pick Wander Franco just based on the type of player, the future, the popularity of the player in the sport. Here's the little problem, though. The baseball card world has been changing drastically the last few years. Tatis had his rookies in 2019, Wander a couple of years later. And that makes a big difference in these last few years where population is kind of exponentially growing.
Sure.
And so Tatis rookies may be a little bit more scarce in the long run than Franco rookies. But if I'm just taking the player, I'd probably take Franco.
Maybe you'd have to figure out the equivalent of like a lower numbered parallel or something of his rookie versus Tatis's base rookie or whatever.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, some other questions in here. How about older guys like Don Mattingly, Dave Parker, and Tommy John from Studfield Mouse?
Okay.
They're over 30.
They are over 30, but it depends on how you want to approach this. I've got my under 30 list. I've got my over 30 but active list. And then I also have a top 10 for players still on the writer's ballot, and then top 10 for the classic era and the contemporary era. So I put 5 videos out there that people can go check out.
Oh, well, there you go.
Each of those eras covered.
That. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So who do you like out of those 3? Let's see. Mattingly, Dave Parker, and Tommy John.
Right. So I guess they would all fit into kind of the contemporary era. Tommy John probably be in the classic era. Dave Parker has kind of straddled across them. That's a difficult one. My top players from those eras are not the typical ones. Let's say that. My
Oh
top
yeah,
players from the classic era were Dick
Oscar
Allen.
Gamble,
Okay. I
Mickey
I don't
River.
think I had him. Yeah. Dick Allen and Tian and Dwight Evans, I think, were my top three from the classic era. Tommy John, I would put him in. Tommy John had a great career. He had a Jim Cat type career,
Yeah,
but he also had the surgery. He
yeah.
pioneered that surgery. He was the first person to do it, recover from it, rehab, had a great second half of his career. There's actually better in numbers than compared to the first half of his career. So I would put him in. I
Was
can
it? It was
understand the
James
argument either way.
Andrews. It was James Andrews that did that surgery, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Which now the question begs: shouldn't it be called James Andrews surgery instead of Tommy John surgery?
That's a great question.
That's just my own.
I guess so. Yeah, he
It
wasn't the face of it. Tommy
doesn't.
John was, but
Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue as easily.
yeah, yeah.
But or
And
the dead cadaver whose tendon was yanked out so that Tommy John could have
yep,
a new wing. Maybe that guy, Fred something.
yeah, and the other guys that you mentioned. I looking at back at the '80s, Dave Parker is a tough one. He had a phenomenal first half of his career and a horrible second half of his career, and he had a number of things that really kind of drove his game into the ground, and they were his doing in a lot of ways. So I can understand the argument. Me personally, I don't think I'd put him in, but I could understand somebody who watched him during the '70s and early '80s, the player that he was, to feel very strongly biased that he should be in. For me, I was born in 1978. I didn't get to see him during that time period. I just look back at his stats, and I remember what good player he was with the Reds in the late '80s. And
Yeah.
he just wasn't the same player. So looking back at his stats, as a stat geek in a way, I wouldn't put him in, but I can respect people's opinions that saw him play when he was the Cobra, right?
And I saw something recently where, there's way more baseball teams. There's way more different ways to um, judge stats now with analytics and stuff. So the hall is going to have to widen that door a little bit. It seems if we're going to say the best of the best, but the best of the best is a smaller percentage of the players playing now compared to 60 years ago, right? So if we're going to say
That's
the
right.
best of the best, then that should start widening out. And same with football and basketball as well. Basketball, if you make two All-Star teams, you're in the NBA Hall of Fame. But in football, same thing. The statistics have changed a lot, so they just need to start. In my opinion, they just need to start widening it out. Someone did ask though, good question. If you had to pick, this is Houdini Sports asked, if you had to pick one catcher to start a franchise of these three catchers, who would you pick? Yadier Molina, Carlton Fisk, or Pudge Ivan Rodriguez?
Oh, give me those three. I would probably, I'd probably pick Pudge. He
Which
could
Pudge?
hit. Oh, sorry. Are we? Oh, okay. Fisk or Rodriguez, right? Yeah. I would probably pick Rodriguez.
Yeah,
He could
I
do
was going to say
everything
the
in the game.
same thing. Now, steroid, who knows with the steroids with that situation,
Yeah.
but I thought the same thing. He was
Yeah.
phenomenal. One of the catchers that I loved back in the day and I was a catcher in high school, and this was just my guy, Benito Santiago. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was awesome.
Padres. I remember him.
Yep, him and
Yeah.
Mike LaValliere, the big Spanky, the chubby
Yeah.
Pirates catcher.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I would. I'd probably pick Rodriguez. Defensively, I think he's Molina's match, and better offensively. And then Fisk was good for so long, but I just think that Pudge was better. Sorry, the second coming of Pudge was better, kind of at his peak. Fisk was just longevity.
Yeah,
So.
I do think Fisk had a little more leadership, probably. Maybe Molina as well, but I think Fisk probably has Ivan Rodriguez in that skill
Yep.
set or whatever you would say.
Yep.
But yeah,
I
all
would
three
agree.
are pretty darn good. So Patrick Imhoff asks, with the Hall of Fame discussion, do you consider different stats from different eras, like pitchers, saves versus wins versus WAR, etc.? Getting deep.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, WAR is become the trendy stat, and I'll say right off the bat, I like WAR. It's a tool to be used along with everything else. I actually like WAA better than WAR. It's
Oh,
wins above average. So instead of comparing your player to a fictional player that would be coming up to replace you from AAA, it compares you to the league average player. So I think it's a better tool to see how much better than average a player is.
gotcha.
Um, and so I like to use that one. That being said, WAR, WAA, they have a lot of different moving parts that go into the calculations that get a little bit fuzzy the further back in time you go.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a good tool to be able to see who the best players were, but I'm not going to sit here and argue with you over a guy that has 60 WAR this year and a guy that played 50 years ago that has 60 WAR. It's
Right.
just not good enough of a measure to be
Yeah.
able to do that. So it's hard to argue, across generations based on WAR stats.
Yeah.
And that's when you have to look at other stats. Wins used to be important. Wins is not so important anymore. You're seeing a lot more pitchers not go more than 5 innings on a regular basis and
Yeah.
can't get the win basically.
Yeah,
So
we're in a different
I
era.
think stats
A lot more
change.
specialty, a lot more specialties, a lot more
Specializing, yeah.
specialties. Okay, so let's do, because I know I forced you to do a trivia question. Let's do a trivia question, and
All right.
I can do one of these cards for a giveaway. I don't know if you had something you were thinking of. What do you want to do?
Yep, I grabbed a couple. Yeah,
Oh, awesome.
easy enough.
All right, so go ahead.
Yeah.
I won't guess. This way it'll save me the embarrassment. All
Okay,
right, what do
sounds
you
good.
got?
Well, we talked earlier about the All-Star break, the home run derby, loving that, watching that every year. So my trivia question was, who was the first player to win the home run derby and in what year?
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. And I just remembered that you sent that to me, so I do know
Yeah,
the answer. Yeah,
there you go.
that's a good one. So while we're waiting for that, I'll ask you some more of these questions. Somebody said, Johnny Spicy Bear says, Johnny Bench said Pete Rose shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, so maybe Bench shouldn't be in there either. That's good. Now, I'm guessing, I don't know when Johnny Bench said that, at what point of his career. I wonder if it was during his broadcasting career, and maybe it was like you know, right after it all happened. Or I don't know. I did not hear that before, but that's interesting. Let's see. Santiago is the best Hispanic catcher of his era. Yeah, if you say the '80s was Santiago, and then Pudge came to the Marlins after that. What, '92 to the Marlins? Oh no, Charles Johnson was the Marlins early. I guess Pudge was
Charles
Texas early,
Johnson.
and then
Yeah,
Pudge eventually did he eventually go to the?
he eventually went to the Marlins.
Yeah, okay, I'm mixing those up. But Charles Johnson was great too. Remember him for the Marlins? He was a great.
Oh, he was a great defensive
Yeah,
catcher.
I
Yeah.
think he went to the University of Miami, and then he was their first draft pick. I think. Let's see. Consider. Oh yeah, Patrick Imhoff brings up a good point also in that um, the use of openers now and bringing in
Yep.
closers early and all that stuff that does change affect a lot. So we've
Yeah, I
got
think
a
in
few
a
questions.
couple of years from now, I
Yeah,
was going to say a couple of years from now, I think pitchers are going to be evaluated just as a big group. It's not going to be
yeah,
relief and starters after a while. So
yep. Um, so we have a couple answers here. I've got to pull up your trivia, your email, so that I know what the answer is before I remember the player, but I don't remember the year.
yeah, if we get one of them right, it's probably good enough. So that'd be a fun little trivia
Okay,
thing.
somebody did get it. Okay,
Okay,
so the person that got it was, let's see, I think, yeah, Patrick Imhoff
there you
uh,
go.
of the Dave Parker, 1985, Go Pirates. He says. Yeah, right.
That,
That's it.
yeah, that's
I'm
it.
glad I didn't
Yeah,
answer.
Dave Parker won it.
1982 was in my
Yeah.
mind, but yeah.
No, but
Well,
the funny thing is, I'll totally accept Go Pirates, but he was with the Reds in that year when he won it,
oh yeah.
1985.
Maybe he was
Yeah,
just thrown out. He might have just been thrown out because he's a Pirates fan. He
you
might have
gotta
been
love the
thrown out.
Buccos, right?
Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna have you uh, chat. I just realized I'm supposed to grab some cards, some Jersey Fusion cards that I was supposed to have in this giveaway also. But go ahead
Okay.
and let's see a question in here. A better duo, A Rod and Griffey or Barry Bonds and Jeff Kent? A 90s question from Houdini Sports. Okay, sorry.
A Rod and Griffey or Bonds and Jeff Kent. Oh man, that's tough. I would probably say Griffey and A Rod. I am a Mariners guy, so that says something. But if you have two almost generational players up the middle, shortstop and center field, they're both good at what they do. I'd probably take that, despite how phenomenal Bonds was as a left fielder. Um, as a hitter, he was so feared. But I probably, if I had to take two players, if I had to take one, it'd probably be Bonds in left field. If I had to take two, it's probably going to be Griffey and A-Rod over Bonds and Kent. Kent was a great player, but as a second baseman, I think he's borderline Hall of Fame. I'd probably put him in my Hall of Fame just because of what he did as a second baseman, but he just doesn't quite stack up against guys like Griffey and A-Rod, in my opinion. So that's probably what I would pick.
It's funny you say that because that's exactly what I was going to say. No,
There you go. I
I
love
didn't hear all of it. All right. So, um, what I'm going to do real quick, I just want to show these two cards and what we're going to do for these two things. Hey, Stephen Griparis in the house. How you doing, buddy? I'm going to show. So here are the two of the Jersey Fusion cards that never got claimed from the winners. So it's the Franco Harris multi-patch card and the John Havlicek hardwood court card. So what we'll do for these is I'm going to send these to one person because, man, shipping's killing me, you guys. You guys are killing me with all the billions of random cards and stuff. So whenever it's a card that's bigger than an envelope, I'm putting this in the same thing from now on. So we're going to do that as like one. Let's see, what will it do with that? I'll figure out something. We'll figure out something. Maybe we'll do a trivia question at the end for just that one thing. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Uh, let's do a let's do. So you just did that trivia question, and Patrick Imhoff got that. So Patrick, I will relay your address because I do have your address. I'll shoot that over to Brent. Studfield Mouse wants to trade one in. We're not gonna do these. Those aren't those. The Jersey Fusion ones aren't for. But he wants to pay for shipping. Yeah, we're not gonna do those for the thing, Stud. Sorry, it's gonna be a separate thing at the end. We'll do, but you'll be eligible to win it. How's that? All right, so let's do another trivia question. Oh, I also want to mention before this gets me again is I'm sorry, Canada, and we have a Canadian guest on. Even I, I can't. The shipping to Canada is killing me.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's nuts. Yeah. So unfortunately, I can't ship to Canada this stuff. So if you win, I apologize, but that's my disclaimer for 50, 60 minutes into the video. So I apologize. All right. Which Hall of Fame athlete? This is for all the beeps. Which Hall of Fame athlete was drafted by 4 different pro sports teams in 3 sports? Do you know this one?
I have to think about that one a little bit.
This is a
3
good one.
different sports.
This is one of those when I was a kid. I remember my dad telling me, and I was just like blown away that this is a possibility that could happen.
I could throw out some guesses, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
I know you're thinking Bartolo Colon, but it's not.
Track and field, right?
All right, so we got some people with some answers coming through. Some good answers so far. Not necessarily correct yet. So what's coming up on your channel? Let's talk about that.
Sure, yeah. So right now, I'm in the midst of a little series that I'm putting together. I love collecting cards, right? And for a long time, I collected prospect cards. I do prospecting, but I don't anymore. And so what I decided to do is kind of a little story about why I don't do prospecting. And it's a kind of a series of videos starting when I collected in 1988, going through all of the huge prospects every year that didn't do anything.
Oh, wow.
Or didn't live up to the hype. So I started, in 1988 with Greg Jeffries. Went through Kevin Moss, Todd Van Poppel, Brian Taylor.
Yeah.
Like one by one. I think my last video is up to
Kevin
1998. So I did, 98 was the last one that I did, and my next video to come out is 99, 2000. So a couple of years left to go of when I stopped prospecting in 2005.
Oh, that's pretty cool series. That's pretty good. It's like I got burned so you don't have to kind of thing. One of those things.
Yeah, kind of an explanation for why I didn't continue doing it. And then I do another series too. Like I said, I incorporate history into a lot of what I do. And so I've got a series where I'm actually going to go through every major league team and give a history of that team and how it kind of came to be what it is. And so far I've done 4, I believe. I've done the Astros, the Phillies, the Padres, and the Blue Jays. And I put up on my community link in my YouTube channel to vote for the next team. The next team that won is the Braves. So I've got to do the whole video about the Braves history, starting
I love that.
way back when they were the Boston Beaneaters, the Dubs, walking through the entire history of Braves. So
that's cool.
That's going to be something coming. Yeah.
All right. So the answer, unfortunately, Michael Pratt, you said Winfield, and Tiger Fan 82 came up with Dave Winfield. So without getting into lawsuits and stuff, we're going to give Tiger Fan 82 the win on this. I'm sorry, Michael Pratt, but we got to have some sort of legal. I don't know. Tiger Fan 82, you win that. So we have some stacks here. I think at this point, I'm making everything here into one stack. All of these cards into one stack. So these are the cards Patrick Imhoff sent in. This is all one pick if you want these. Henry Davis, Bowman, rookie. Drew Jones, Bowman first. Nick Gonzalez, Chrome. Cade Cunningham. Brooks Lee, top 30 prospect. Bly Madras, auto. Nick Gonzalez, Mojo. Yoel Pozo, auto. And Miguel Yajur, auto. So this is one pick, Tiger Fan. If you get the pick, and let's see, Tiger Fan. Okay, yeah, it was Winfield. And then the Bird, Michael Jordan card, Alex Rodriguez first tops card, Shohei, Pete Rose record breaker, and the Tony Gwynn SP. So Tiger Fan 82, you get your pick of one of those cards. That was a lot. A lot of talking there. And then there's a little delay. So whenever I talk to the viewers, there's a delay before what they put in the chat comes back to me. So text Patrick Imhoff, who sent those in, said 2 of those autograph cards are ex-Pirates who he divorced himself from. I have the same problem. I'm a Rays fan, so we end up shipping out a lot of guys after they become good, like Blake Snell. I love Blake Snell. He got tricked. Austin Meadows, he was a big fan favorite here, gets traded. I mean, it's tough,
One of my favorites all time was Longoria. I love Longoria.
We were gonna get to that because
Okay.
Longo's
Okay.
he's my all time favorite player
Nice. All
in
right. All
baseball,
right.
and I'm obviously a Rays fan, but yeah, he's a big deal. So I worked at CBS for 5 years writing fantasy baseball, and he was a guy I mean everybody was high on him. He was third overall pick, I think, whatever. But
Yeah.
he helped me win a Tout Wars championship, which is like a league, like an industry wide fantasy baseball uh, competition. So Longoria, I drafted Longoria in that before he got to the majors. So it's a big deal. He's a big deal to me. Okay. So let's see. What does Tiger fan say? Says Babe Ruth. We don't have a Babe Ruth card. Tiger fan 82, waiting for you to pick your card, brother. All right. Let's see what else. So Longoria, let's talk about him for a little bit.
Hmm.
What's your assessment? Obviously, he's at the war that he's adding at this point is in the it's like just inching forward.
Yeah. Um, he is the definition of a borderline candidate to me.
Yeah.
It's like he's so close, but he's also just not quite there, And if he could just put together a couple more, one or two more good seasons instead of the ones that he's had the last year or
Yeah.
two, that probably would have done it. But yeah, it's just a little bit short for me. But I love him. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great human being, from what I can tell. And I just,
He seems all right.
I
He
love
seems
watching
all
him.
right. I don't know if he's a great, I don't
Yeah.
know, a great human being. Like there's some stories back in the day, but
Oh, okay.
he made a Family Guy now. He seems to be. But
Right. Yeah.
real
People
quick,
change. Yeah.
I just want to mention that that Tiger Fan 82 took the MJ card, so we're gonna go with that one for him. Also, Stud, you asked if you could swap the Shaq with the stack, and we can do that. So I'll swap that out. And so, Shelby, if you could make note, we're sending this chunk of cards to Stud Field Mouse. And then the Michael Jordan card is going to Tiger Fan 82. Michael Jordan Bird card. So Shaq's back in the stack. Okay. So, also, my producer, Shelby, came and asked me, what did um, the person that answered your question, Patrick Imhoff, answered your question. What was the card? What was he choosing from, or what card did you?
Yeah, so I grabbed 3 as well. So he can choose whatever he'd like. I grabbed, growing up in Oklahoma, I've got a Pro Set Barry Sanders rookie.
Oh man, I love that card. I've got that
Yeah.
in my one of my displays up here. One of my all time. It's one of the most beautiful cards ever made.
Oh, I love it. I love
And
that
you're an
running pose that
Oklahoma
he's
guy,
got.
yeah, that's right. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then an Omar Vizquel Topps Traded SGC 9.
Wow! Oh,
And
nice.
my favorite player of all time, a 91 scorer traded Jeff Bagwell BGS 9.5 rookie.
Wow! Very cool.
So
very nice.
Take your choice, pick one, and it's yours. Vizquel rookie, Bagwell rookie, or Barry Sanders rookie.
I'll tell you what. That's pretty. Those are 3 pretty awesome cards you offered. Like one of those. The fact that Patrick won makes me feel really good because Patrick sent all those cards to me. So now he gets. It kind of you got the short end of the stick on this one. Like he sent me great cards, and then you get to send him a good card. So
it all comes full circle. It does. That's the way it works.
Nice. All right, let's see. Got some more questions or comments here. Here, I thought David saying his dad told him the facts. Sorry. Speaking of the Rays, this is Patrick Imhoff again. How cool is it to look at the AL East standings right now? When was the last time the Sox and the Yankees were the bottom 2 at the break? That is exciting. That is nice to see. Unfortunately, the Rays are starting to tick back a little bit. The Orioles are starting to tick up, but even the Orioles, I'd be rooting for the Orioles if they did something and got to. The fact that the Red Sox and the Yankees are at the bottom is just fantastic. However, those are also two guys who they're just going to throw a bunch of prospects and a bunch of money, whatever. And they're going to get a bunch of stuff at the trade deadline. So whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for the Orioles right now. I'd be a little bit scared if I were a Rays fan because of how good they are, how young they are. And they're a team that they can take on some payroll at the trade deadline.
That's a good
Whereas
point.
the Rays probably won't.
A little different than the Rays, right?
Yeah.
That's a great point. Yeah. All right, so let's see. David, that swap deal was for Tiger. Now I'm really messing y'all up. What? All right. So, Tiger fan, are you saying you wanted the stack? I'll let Shelby. Shelby, if you could, work that out. I'm sorry. Thank you. Tom Bullitt said OSU best running backs of all time at the same time: Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders. Then
can't get much better than that.
Other monster legend RBs. I'm not a college guy, but OSU would be my pick. What about was it OJ and Mike Garrett at the same time? OJ Simpson and Mike Garrett, which were both Heisman winners. I agree. Pro wise, though, Barry Sanders. It's tough to beat that. Yeah, Barry Sanders and Thurman.
Yeah.
The fact that Barry Sanders is on the bench is, that's insane. Like that doesn't, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. There's got to be some other backfield. Arkansas, which Scott H is not in our chat, but he's a big Arkansas fan. Arkansas had the Raiders, Darren McFadden. So this is all in one backfield. Darren McFadden, Julius Jones, I think, and Peyton Hillis, who in the early 2010s, like he was on cover of Madden. Peyton Hillis was the Browns running back. Darren McFadden was a Heisman winner and an early pick for the Raiders. And I think Julius Jones, or no, it's Felix Jones, I think. Anyways, 3 guys. That's pretty amazing.
It's good backfield.
And then even recent, Georgia with, of course now all my brain's going, well, who's the Cleveland Browns running back right now that's amazing? Him and Todd Gurley were there at the same time. Man, I'm wicked old. Okay. You're welcome to stick around. I feel like I'm holding you hostage at this point. We're well past the hour we talked about. I'm going to do some more trivia and some more questions and stuff. But it's up to you if you want to stick around.
I don't mind sticking around.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Cool. All right. So, who's the guy for the Browns running back? He's like a top 5 fantasy pick. Anyways, can't think of it. Okay. So we've got some more trivia. And let's see who was listening earlier. We're going to another trivia question, y'all. This current Major League Baseball franchise was also once known as the Bean Eaters, the Bees, the Doves, and the Rustlers, according to Baseball Reference. So which current baseball franchise was once known as all those fun things? Bean Eaters, Bees, Doves?
Doves, yeah. I know this one, David.
Yeah, well, you said it earlier. When you said it, I almost said, hey, that's one of our trips. I was like, well, if I don't say anything, then maybe.
See if they're paying attention.
Yeah, people will miss it. All right, let's see. Shelby's still working out which cards went to whom. The Athletics started their long downhill slide when they lost Reggie Jackson. No, the A's were great in the 80s. Sorry, Spicy Bear mentioned the A's going downhill after Reggie Jackson, but the A's were fun.
They had the Bash Brothers.
Yeah, Tony La Russa with who was I think he won Rookie of the Year after McGuire. Terry Steinbeck?
Steinbach could have.
Did he win?
Yeah, I can't remember if he won Rookie of the Year.
I'm not sure. In my head, I think he won.
But they had they had some great years. I'm not sure. Maybe Spice Bears is talking about just the ownership group and kind of how they've ended up where they are. But they had some great years in the late '80s, early '90s, even with Giambi, Tejada. Those guys were great.
Yeah.
Eric Chavez.
Oh, Eric Chavez. Yeah, I forgot about Barry Zito, great pitcher. Who's the other?
Hudson, Mulder, and Zito.
Tim Hudson.
Yeah.
Man, Mulder, Hudson, and I forgot about that. They went to the Braves and Cardinals, right? Okay, so we got a few answers in, and no correct answer yet. But a few people, a lot of them picking the same. Walt Weiss, Patrick Imhoff said. Tell you what, Patrick Imhoff, he's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. Dave Stewart, he was great for that team.
Oh, Dave Stewart, yeah, that's a great one. It's funny because whenever I'll get the breaks every now and then, and whenever, for whatever reason, I end up with the A's in these breaks, like obviously it's some sort of conspiracy against me that I would get Oakland A's, the one team nobody ever wants. But I get random, like I got a Barry Zito auto, I got a Dave Stewart auto. Like random, I got a Miguel Tejada auto, but that I got when he was on the Giants. So even the A's fans don't, actually, I guess Orioles, he was a big deal to the Orioles, right? Tejada?
Yeah, for a couple of years.
Yeah. But anyways, just random. So we're still, no correct answer yet.
No? What are we going to do?
So Shelby is asking, if Dave Parker doesn't make his choice from Brent's card, who's getting one of those cards? So, Miss Shelby, Dave Parker was the answer to the card. So we already worked out that Patrick Imhoff is getting the card from Brent, and I'll just relay the address to Brent. So we're good there.
Yeah.
Oh, Patrick, which card did you choose? Oh, he said the Barry Sanders. Sorry.
He picked the Barry Sanders. Got the Sanders.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Sorry. I missed that. Thank you, Shelby, for refreshing that whole thing. So we still do not have a correct answer on this card on the team that was once as the Bean Eaters, the Bees, the Doves, the Rustlers. It's on Baseball Reference.
Yeah.
We have
all those.
Well,
did we get it?
I can't say because the person that answered already won something. So if you won, you can't win again if you won, unfortunately.
Yeah, they all started in Boston and they moved to Milwaukee.
There you go. There's our hint.
There's a hint for you.
The other hint is somebody has already said the answer in the chat, but they already won, so I can't give it to them. Mm-hmm. We've gone through quite a few of the. There we go. Houdini Sports with the Braves with the assist from Stud Fieldmouse and Brent. No, it's not a new rule. If you that was the rule last month. If you won, you don't win a second one. So this is Houdini Sports. Stud, I appreciate that though. Shelby's regulating. Okay, so who was it that got it? Houdini Sports. You get to pick from these cards, my friend. The Shaquille O'Neal, a Tony Gwynn SP, an A-Rod first Topps card, a Pete Rose 86, and Shohei Ohtani Bowman 2021. Oh, that was a tougher question than I expected. So who are your other teams that you enjoy watching? Now you live in Canada, so do you root for the Blue Jays or the Nationals?
No, never rooted for Blue Jays. I grew up in the States. I'm from there originally. I've lived up in Vancouver for a while now, but I didn't grow up watching the Blue Jays. So Blue Jays and the Mariners have a big rivalry because every time the Blue Jays come to Seattle, everybody heads down from Vancouver to go watch the Jays. But I always root for the Mariners. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Mariners were my hometown team growing up. I just have this place in my heart for them. The
And
Tigers
really,
have
you're
always
so
been my
much
favorite
closer to
team.
Seattle. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, totally.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I didn't know if like
Yeah.
the Blue Jays also because that whatever.
Yeah, I
Um,
never really picked them up, but I'm a huge fan of the Tigers, and I've always liked the Pirates. For some reason, maybe I just like the underdog teams that go through 20-year stretches of being horrible. But
yeah, I got you. All right, so the Tony Gwynn SP card. Tony Gwynn goes to the uh, Houdini Sports. Okay, thank you. That's awesome. Okay, so let's do another trivia question here. This one's a really good question. You know what? It's too good because it's going to take too long. What were the football's Kansas City Chiefs originally named before they moved to Kansas City? So I need the city and the mascot. Do you know this one, Matt?
I don't know this
A little
one. No.
football action for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Shaq is still one of the available cards here. There was some sort of trade, some sort of stud field mouse knocked over this domino thing of 15 cards being swapped. But he's a good guy and he's loyal, so that's okay.
There you go. Shelby figured it all out, right? So
Well,
she's good at what
she
she
just
does.
did a hypnotic eyed emoji, so I don't know if she figured it out, but I'm sure it'll be something that I'll be dealing with in the comments in an email for the next week. Stud, you can't answer because you if you already won. I see. He was given a hint. He says. So are you're only a baseball fan? What's the next closest sport you're a fan of?
The next closest would be football. I grew up being a football fan. Um, I think at just some point I had to pick,
Yeah,
and so the path diverged. I took the baseball path, football. I grew up loving Barry Sanders. He was by far my favorite.
yeah.
I've liked the Lions and the Bears, both. I've always been a Bears fan.
Bears. Wow.
But yeah, I'd say like 10, 15 years ago, I just kind of picked the baseball path. And so you ask me 80s, 90s questions about football, I can do pretty well. But if you
Yeah,
ask me the last 10 years, I
yeah.
just don't know
I'm
anymore.
with you. I get you. Um, it's so today randomly I learned did not know that the 1976 expansion Mariners. So I'm a Buccaneers fan. I'm the expansion Seahawks. So the Buccaneers and the
Okay.
Seahawks were the same expansion franchise or year. I learned that the Seahawks traded the number 2 overall pick. The Bucks picked Leroy Selman. The Seahawks traded that pick to the Cowboys for a bunch of players, which apparently the players ended up being pretty good, but they're all kind of like no names, like linebackers and linemen. Like nobody really, but they ended up being pretty good. But they traded Tony Dorsett, the pick that turned out to be Tony Dorsett, went from the Seahawks to the Cowboys during their Super Bowl runs. They ended up winning the Super Bowl, I think the next year with them. But that's crazy.
Yeah,
I
that could have
got
changed the franchise for the Seahawks.
yeah, yeah. So it's interesting. I wonder because the Seahawks and the Buccaneers coming into the league were so bad that I wonder if he would have just got killed.
All right.
Oh, I got another note from my producer. Oh, okay. She said, "Hey, there's no." I put that moratorium on people answering if they've already won something. We don't have enough people in here that are new.
Okay.
Okay, so if you've already won and you'd like to answer, go ahead and answer. The team that was Kansas City and went from became the Chiefs, and it sounds like Stud Field Mouse already nailed it, but need the whole name, city and mascot. And looks like Houdini Sports has it as well. One of you guys get it. You can win 2 cards. Is my point. So let's see what else. You rooting for the Sonics to get a team, the Seattle to get a team again for
I
basketball?
would love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I went to Sonics games when I was a kid. I used to watch Sean Kemp and Gary Payton.
Oh man, yeah, they should
They,
never have lost the franchise.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
silly. That was
They had a huge fan base. Like that green and yellow was all over the city during basketball season.
yeah,
It's too bad. I'd love to see them get a franchise again and
yeah.
keep the name. I'd love to see the
And
Sonics
I would
somewhere.
love Kevin Durant to go there in his final season, just to
Yeah.
bookend, Seattle and Seattle. All right, so Houdini Sports nailed it. Dallas Texans. So Houdini Sports, you get to pick from these four cards, my friend. Shaq, Pete Rose, Shohei, or A-Rod. Uh,
Well, that is it. That's interesting. That they were the Dallas Texans. Is that
Dallas
where
Texans,
the
yeah.
Houston team got its name? Like the idea of the name from that
I
old team?
I don't know. So yeah, so what happened was um, they were the Dallas Texans, and I think they were the first team actually too in the NFL or in pro football were the Dallas Texans in the AFL, and then the Dallas Cowboys came around in the NFL, and Lamar Hunt knew if he kept the Texans in Dallas, it would be a problem for a merger. So
Okay.
he moved them to Kansas City so that it wouldn't be a stumbling block over an eventual merger. And I mean, it ended up being a huge, that was a big deal. And
Mm-hmm.
they merged, and Kansas City stayed in. And they ended up, I mean, Lamar Hunt was one of the all-time greatest owners. They ended up, I think the AFC trophy is named after Lamar Hunt. I think that's the Lamar Hunt Trophy if you win the AFC. All right, so let's see. Spicy Bear says, when I was 18, I briefly worked for the same company that made the Seahawks lockers and locker room stuff. That's interesting. We got for whatever reason, a lot of my viewers are from the Washington area. Like I've sent a
Okay.
lot of cards up there. Yeah, I can't remember if I think Spicy Bear is from up there. I don't know why his name's Spicy Bear. I think he explained it, but I don't remember why. Patrick Imhoff asks, "How about the Everett Aqua Sox? Catch some good minor league ball up there."
Yeah, yeah. It used to be the short season single A, but now I think it's just a regular single A team for the Mariners. I think they're still the Mariners. The
Oh
Mariners for a
yeah,
long time. Yeah,
is Tacoma
yeah.
still their AAA?
The Rainiers are still at AAA. Yeah. And
The
here in
Tacoma
Vancouver, we've got the
Rainiers.
Vancouver
That's right. Yeah.
Canadians.
Say that again.
Yeah. We've got the Vancouver Canadians here in Vancouver, and they are the Blue Jays single A squad. So
Oh.
Blue Jays and sorry, the Canadians and Aqua Sox play pretty regularly. So.
Oh, that's cool. That's got to be relatively new.
Yeah, everything got shuffled, a couple of years ago when they eliminated a bunch of minor league teams, and they kind of funneled in a bunch of teams into the single A league instead of the short season single A that it used to be.
So I had just moved to the Austin area last year from Orlando, and I'm a Rays fan. So the Houston Astros hold a place in my heart in that I don't root for them at all, and I do not like them because they cost the Rays potentially a chance to go to the World Series and a chance to possibly win. So I'm not a big Astros fan. But so when I moved here, I live in Georgetown, which is right next to Round Rock. And I was like, man, the one minor league team that's near me is now the Astros. I got to root for the Astros. But 2 years ago, they changed to the Rangers. Now it's the Round Rock Rangers, the Round Rock Express, I should say. And last year we went and watched him, and Josh Young hit 2 homers out.
Nice.
So I'm a big Josh Young fan now. Yeah, that worked out.
There you go. Yeah, great player. Finally has his health behind him. That's good.
You what?
He finally has his health behind him. He was supposed to be with the Rangers probably a year or two ago. But
yeah, he's pretty old. He's like a 25-year-old rookie.
Yeah.
Studfield Mouse says the Texans also played in the Cotton Bowl. Cowboys building a cool new stadium. Patrick Imhoff says he used to live up in Washington area, I believe, also. So Houdini Sports asked me to ask you, what's your favorite all-time throwback MLB jersey other than the Mariners?
Oh, man. Favorite throwback. I love I love the Padres brown and mustard, and I'm glad that they've kind of
Oh yeah,
re-embraced that
yeah.
color
They brought it
scheme.
back. Yep.
Yeah, I love that one.
Oh,
I did do the Philadelphia Phillies history a few months ago, and one of my favorites was the story of their all maroon jerseys that made a comeback. They put them on for one night in the 1970s, and they got such a backlash from that jersey. Everybody's feedback was that they looked like a bunch of men in pajamas on the field. And so
wow.
they had them wear the all maroons one night, stash them away, never to be thought of again until recent years. And now they bring them out, and the all maroons are just kind of a cool look now. So
Yeah.
it's so funny how tastes can change.
It's crazy. The
Yeah,
big deal now for Bucks fans is that the Buccaneers are wearing their creamsicle orange jerseys
yeah,
for one game this coming season. It's a huge deal. It is
cool.
crazy how I mean that was a hated color. Those colors were hated in the 80s and
Yeah,
the 90s. And then when they finally changed, like it was so awesome, it was so great. But now, yeah, everybody can't wait to get back, get those old ones because I guess it's just nostalgia, like the Astros rainbow jerseys and all that.
yeah.
All right, so let's see, Houdini. Uh, you got the Dallas Texans, but you have to pick a card. Okay, he took Shaq. All right, so Shaq goes to Houdini, and I think we're gonna wrap this up with the two Jersey Fusion cards. We'll save these three cards for another time. We'll maybe do that next week. I don't think I got any super thanks, so we won't give away those slabs. So we have this card, the Havlicek, and the Franco Harris three jersey patch card, and now I have to figure out. Yeah, Shelby likes the creamsicle colors. So now I have to figure out how to do this giveaway. I think I'll do the wheel of names if I can do it quickly. Yeah. Well, I apologize for the craziness of this chat, but it seems to be the common thing that happens every time.
I haven't managed to do a live at all, so I commend you for
It's an adventure.
juggling all of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it is an adventure. So I'm going to, if you're in the chat, if you're listening, type in your name and type in something so I see you in here, and I'll add you to this wheel of names. Wheel of names. So I have Stud Fieldmouse, who won last week. We have Patrick Imhoff. We have Houdini Sports and Spicy Bear. And let's see. Anyone else in here? Type in your name. Tom Bullard. It's 5. If you're in here, listen. I think Tiger Fan 82, if he's still in here. Type in your name and so I can see Ezekiel. Yes. Tom Bullard. All right, got you. And Patrick Imhoff got you. I think the only one I'm just checking on is I don't see Tiger Fan. I know he chatted earlier. He won something earlier, but Tiger Fan 82. If you are still around, all right, we'll give you 10 more seconds. So, so you haven't done a live. Do you ever plan to do a live? It's an adventure.
Yeah, I figured I would one of these days. You know, I'm still learning the ropes a little bit on just how to keep doing content, and so
Yeah.
it'll be one of these things that I do. I've only been doing this channel for 9 months, I think, so I'm still kind of learning the ropes of how to do everything, and I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you get obviously you get better with more reps and all that stuff. You're fine. Your production is high quality production, in my opinion. Your stuff. You do a really nice job. All right.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate that.
yeah. So I got everybody. I have Studfield Mouse, Patrick Imhoff, Houdini Sports, Spicy Bear, Tom Bullard, and Ezekiel Sports memorabilia. And what I'll do is I'll just turn. Now this is to win. I'm just gonna turn this so you can see the thing here. Won't be able to see if you can see it, but I think you can see it. All right. Can you see? Oh, you can't see it, can you? All right. So I think everyone else can see it. I'm just gonna go ahead and spin, and this is for both of these Jersey Fusion cards. The winner is Patrick Imhoff. Well done, Patrick. All right. Well, that's cool. Neither of them are. Oh, wait. Franco Harris, Pittsburgh. That's your guy. There you go. Well done. Tiger fan. Come on, man. You came in at the last second. Sorry, buddy. You missed out. You get your choice of one of those other cards. I'll give you one of those cards that I waited as long as I could, man. We had to move on. All right. But you can choose one of these cards. The A-Rod, the Pete Rose, or the Shohei. How's that? YouTube Live, what do you think you would do with a YouTube Live?
I'm not even sure yet, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think for you.
Yeah, maybe.
It'd have to be.
Yeah, maybe do like a Hall of Fame discussion or something.
That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, based around like maybe like the announcements of, announcement of who's gonna be inducted or at least the finalists and the discussion based around that or something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, I must say I made videos, like I said, 5 videos this last year. The contemporary era and the writer's ballot, I made both of those videos before the announcements, and I got both of them correct, Britt McGriff and Scott Rowland. So I was pretty happy that, my first 2 predictions came to reality. And, maybe I'll do that a live when the announcements are happening or just after the announcements and see how I did.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. All right. So Tiger Fan is back in, and Patrick says he's cool with me just sending him one, which means I got to do double shipping. All right. Killing it. All right. Hold on. Let me get the other thing up. We'll do it again. Remove Imhoff. Add. Let's see. So let's see if I remove. This one doesn't count. Nobody look. All right. Nobody look here. I'm going to change Patrick Imhoff to Tiger Fan. This is, yeah, that one does not count. Okay, so Patrick Imhoff. Sorry for the dead. Okay, you can see that there. We're going to do, I added Tiger Fan here. I took off Patrick Imhoff, and let's do the spin. This is for the John Havlicek card, because Patrick's going to keep the other one. Are you kidding me? Tiger Fan wins it. Comes in at the last second. Well done, sir. That's pretty funny. All right.
There you go.
Tiger Fan wins that other card. We'll put these cards away and do them for next month. But anyways.
So is that Tiger Fan as in Detroit Tigers or Tiger Woods?
Oh, that's a good question. Tiger Fan, maybe you can mention that. Oh, and Shelby says for me to not do the wheel because it makes everything freeze on the screen. Yeah, so sorry about that. All right, so Tiger Fan, he picks A-Rod. Well, you won the Jersey Fusion card, my friend, the Havlicek. So I think that's it. We are wrapping it up. Everyone that won something, please email me your address at gonuscards@gmail.com, and we'll get those cards out to you. Brent,